Hello everyone. Today we've got Katherine from Brighte. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, Katherine McConnell, founder and CEO of Brighte, and I'm 5 years into my founder journey. So founded my first ever company after a long career in banking. I made the leap and here I am.
Fantastic. So Brighte was your very first company. You were working at Macquarie at the time. Tell us a little bit about that transition.
It feels like a different life really when I think about it now, Cheryl. So I had a 14-year career at Macquarie Bank. And so it was over 2 stints. I was there when I finished uni, left for a few years, went to government. I was an economist with Department of Finance.
We won't hold that
Treasury.
against you.
And then was back at Macquarie for just a little over 11 years. So that was really where I learned all my experience in sales, customer relationships, product development. And it was where I got the experience I needed to start Brighte.
Awesome. And when you moved over to Stone and Chalk, you were still working at Brighte. What gave the inspiration?
Okay, so the inspiration for Brighte really came from a combination of the deep experience I had from my work history at Macquarie, and also the personal experience I had with our family. So in 2010 we got solar for the first time, we got more solar in 2012. In 2015, just before I left Macquarie, we got our first battery and our energy management system. And so it was this personal experience in solar where I saw that it can save households quite a bit of money. And then it was the early adopter as a battery that I got a glimpse of the future. And I really saw that, batteries, were not that affordable or cost effective in 2015, but they just made sense. And I felt really strongly that in the future, lots more homes would have solar and lots more homes would be starting that transition to batteries. But what I saw from personal experience and what I heard from our customers was this pain point and friction that existed at the point of sale. And so I was really lucky that I was able to combine my work experience and my personal interest to be able to create a company that solves and seeks to solve that friction at the point of sale. And that's where the idea for Brighte came from.
So did you solve it for yourself, or was that a longer journey?
So we were the first Brighte. My husband, Peter McConnell, was the first Brighte
Very first customer.
So I've got a lovely video of me being very strict with him at the point of sale, videoing the first application. It's a bit embarrassing to watch now. But we actually in 2016, so started at the end of 2015, took about a year to build, and then a year in, we had the filming of the first, related party transaction, and we actually bought 2 more batteries. So we had 3 batteries in 2016, and it was that was where it all went to market and started.
So for our viewers who don't know what Brighte does, give us the 1-minute pitch.
Okay, so Brighte's on a mission to help Australians affordably transition to sustainable and comfortable homes. And we do this by solving the friction, the biggest friction that exists at the point of sale between the people who sell these systems and the people who want to buy these systems. And we do that by our point of sale payment solutions and also our marketplace that connects these customers.
Fantastic. I mean, such an amazing mission, really. I think we all need this here. Okay, so tell me a little bit about the early days. You've moved into Stone and Chalk. Was it super easy from the start, or what were some of the challenges?
So right from the start, I wanted to have an office and I wanted to be really serious about what I was doing, and it was going to work. I was going to find a way to make it work. So I remember, Googling. I'd heard about Stone and Chalk. I Googled, I found the website and booked in a meeting to be able to have an interview to see if I could qualify to be a resident. So I remember meeting with a few different people here. So Annie, later met Alex. And so, did the interview, pitched the business idea, was shortly told, yes, you can come in. And so then it was,
Glad we made the right choice.
I didn't apply anywhere else.
Excellent.
So it was about a week later I was able to start, and initially started on a desk that was near Ed Start. And SpotCap was not far away.
Nice.
Agribusiness, Agri-digital was not far away, so there were quite a few of us in this, this little close proximity. And what was great about that was with people who were doing businesses around credit. I was able to speak to them, what were your experiences? And others who had similar, setting up payroll. I was able to run around to them and say, how did you do this? And so just having that proximity to companies of a similar stage really helped accelerate my journey.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what about Stone & Chalk in general? Were we helpful? Not so much?
No, it was fantastic. So I remember at Stone & Chalk, I transitioned from being on this desk with other companies to taking a few more seats to moving into a very small office to moving into the biggest office.
Yes.
And so, each stage of that journey. So I was there for about a year.
Nice.
About 13 months. And so at each stage of that journey, I was able to use any of the services that you provided. So, whether it was different presentations that were there with, guest speakers coming in, or different services that you're offering, or different panel rates that had been negotiated for the, for the members of Stone & Chalk. So always was on the lookout for whatever I could do to be able to ensure Brighte's success.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you took advantage. I heard that you took advantage of our Mentor Match program. Can you tell me a little bit more about who you engaged with and how that was helpful?
Yeah, fantastic. So the Mentor Match program, that was where I think it was the first one that was run.
Nice.
And so we put our details in and a bit of an information blurb about the business that we were seeking to set up. And so it was quite funny because I was proactively contacted by Trevor Allen before the mentor session even started. And he said, listen, I have some experience, I have some contacts that might be able to help. I understand what you're doing, and I'm keen to meet. So I met Trevor for a coffee and told him about what I was doing. And, he said, listen, I'd be keen to help as a mentor. And,
awesome.
And from that point, he was able to help introduce me to some people who were able to participate in my seed round.
Nice.
He was able to also come on as the first chair of the business. And he had that role for about a year.
Nice.
And so, for that part of our journey, he was a great support.
Awesome. That's so cool. And what about one of the other programs? I understand that you maybe got some of the help from our FinTurn program. Did you hire any interns?
Oh, yes, we did actually. So the FinTurn program, we had Min, we had Tara, Mahapatra. So we had a few, three to five people, I'd say, throughout the intern program. And so Lee Fang actually came on. So we had a few people who came on as interns. Some were able to come back and help with some repeat work on an ongoing basis. A few we hired.
Oh, nice.
One stayed with us for a few years, actually. One stayed with us for about two years as a full-time employee. And so that was definitely fantastic to be able to get access to, educated people who are really keen to be in the industry, also able to help with ad hoc projects or even on ad hoc hours.
Yeah.
And so, where you don't have, full budget or capital to be able to hire lots of people, having access to these talented people, was fantastic at the beginning.
That's awesome. We've actually just expanded the program because we've just acquired Ribbit. So we have access to almost unlimited graduate and intern talent now. So really glad to hear that you were able to take advantage of that.
Oh, fantastic. That's a great asset for anyone who's a resident.
Oh, thank you. And I understand that you have a good relationship with KPMG, which is one of our corporate partners.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit more about that.
So in the beginning, we were able to use KPMG to help us with some modelling that we did on forecasting financial models for how we would raise debt capital. So effectively how we fund our loan book. And so we were able to use the debt advisory team there, and we had a relationship with them for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And that was, now we've got a team that manage that, and we have, experts. But at the very beginning, you can't afford that. Those teams and those, permanent employees. And so to be able to draw upon partners, and, they were definitely able to help us, help myself with very cost-effective, programs as far as fees to be able to support us in those early days. So, a huge amount of gratitude to them, and also their support of the startup industry to be able to help, early stage companies scale and grow.
Yeah, KPMG has been so amazing with a lot of our startups here. They're very engaged, and so I'm glad that you had such a good experience with them. So tell me a little bit about your funding journey. You got some funding while you were here, but then also a couple more rounds since you left.
Yeah, so we have a complex funding journey because we raise debt for our loan book.
Yep.
And equity. Some of that goes in to support the loan book, but the majority is to fuel the business.
Yep.
And so on the debt side, we've raised about $500 million.
Wow.
And so we've raised that from 2016 to, the end. So in about 4 years, we've raised about $500 million. And on the equity side, we've raised $145 million in 4 years. So the debt side, what I'm really excited about there is last year we reached the final maturity of our debt journey.
Ooh.
And so there's a few different stages we had to go through, but last year what we reached was it's what's called public issuance.
Okay.
And so what you do is all the different loans that we've written, we're able to take a lot of those loans, all the green loans that we'd written, and Moody's came in and rated them. And so we got a AA rating for the top tranche. And we got the whole lot rated by the Climate Bond Initiative. And so they were then packaged up and sold as green bonds.
Oh, wow.
So we did Australia's first 100% green bond ABS issuance in October. That was Climate Bond certified and top tranche AA, which is a huge achievement as a first-time issuer.
That's so cool. Can I buy one?
They were 7 times oversubscribed in every class.
That's a good problem.
Yeah, domestic and international funders. So that was that was great. And so what we will do is every 12 to 18 months we'll continue to come back to the market and issue bonds. And then on the equity side, the $145 million. That really culminated with the large $100 million round we closed in December.
Yeah.
And so the first seed round of $3.5 million, that was done while I was at Stone and Chalk from 33 investors. So that was with family and friends. Some of those were definitely introduced by Trevor Allen, the initial mentor that I had at Stone and Chalk. Others were, family and friends. And that was, that $3.5 million was really what got us started after the McConnell family mortgage started to dwindle.
That's fair. And every founder goes through that journey. So that's amazing. So I understand you graduated about a year and a bit later, and we did a whole ceremony around handing over the keys and letting you fly away to your new office. What's been happening since then? What are some of the achievements?
Well, we moved from Stone and Chalk and we're on to our fourth office now. So this office is number 1 Margaret Street. We moved there about 15 months ago. It's a 1,300 square metre whole floor premise that we did a great fit out on. We've got the graffiti walls and the kombucha and rosé on tap and lots of lovely spaces for the team to work. So we've got about 130 people. And we are growing very fast. We'll be full in this office midway. So between June and September, we'll be full in this office. So we're just researching alternative locations, and we've got a few different options that we're exploring at the moment. So the team's grown. We've got our own home. We have received in the past 4 years about $800 million of applications from our customers. And, and so what that proves is we have product market fit.
Absolutely.
Because it's a large amount of applications we've received from households around the country who are wanting to use us to be able to achieve their dreams of accessing a sustainable and comfortable home. So we have a network of over 1,800 businesses, and then their sales team, over 8,000 sales agents offering Brighte as a payment option at the point of sale.
Wow. 800 million applications? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That is a crazy number.
So it's a large number, and I'm really excited that proves traction. So I'm not excited just in the large number, but I'm excited because it's evidence of the traction that we have at the point of sale and the problems that we're solving for our customers. And so, not being here, 4 years ago, and then here we are today, it just shows how big the problem is that we're solving and how big the opportunity is for us to be able to go deeper and solve more problems for those vendors and more problems for those customers at the point of sale.
Did you ever think that you would have done 800 million applications when you first moved in here?
I never thought about it. I just thought it has to work. It has to work. And I knew that the problem was real. And for me, knowing that the problem was real like it just had to work.
Yeah.
So a little bit
Blinders.
Yeah, blinders are just focused on solving, and so slowly they come off, and now I look around and like I just put them back on and just stay focused, because it's not a time to celebrate and go, we've arrived. It really is, everyone talks about that day one. It really is day one again. We've raised this money. We've got huge aspirations to go deeper in solving problems. Like the blinkers are on more than ever, and the pace is picking up to say we've got to do more quicker. And so it's just that excitement.
And you are hiring, right? So tell us a little bit. Yeah. What are you looking for?
Well, we have, you can go to our LinkedIn site, or you can go to brighte.com.au. That's Brighte with an E, Brighte. And at the bottom, you can go to the careers page, and all of the open roles are listed on the website.
Fantastic.
So I haven't checked today, but there should be a few of the roles that are advertised are for multiple. So we've got a few different engineer roles that we're hiring that are multiple. And we've got some roles in the new energy retail team. We've got some roles in product. We've got some roles in the finance team, in marketing. But yeah, they're across the whole business. But I'd say that the biggest growth that we'll be doing will be in tech, in engineering, and in product.
Absolutely. Good. Well, if anyone's interested, please check out Brighte. And finally, I understand that you have just, in collaboration with Zip and a couple others, have produced a code for Buy Now, Pay Later. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Thanks, Cheryl. I'd love to. So, really exciting news this week. Australia will be launching the world's first Buy Now, Pay Later code of practice. And why it's so exciting, not just for Buy Now, Pay Later and FinTech, but for the broader startup community, is that it's my view that often startups tackle problems that exist in a regulatory grey space. And they're able to do that because they have a higher threshold or a risk appetite. And they're able to use tech to be able to, solve those problems. And so when you operate in a regulatory grey space, there's a lot of there are a lot of unknowns. And so you start operating, and as you operate and you get more mature and the problems that you're solving become clearer, and as your growth becomes more known, there's often a lot of, discussion as you think about, someone like an Afterpay around their growth, and they're operating in a sector that's not governed by an Australian credit license. So is that legitimate? And it absolutely is. And these codes are great, not just for Buy Now, Pay Later, but as they get developed for other industries, to really show that there's a level of maturity in the industry, that the participants are doing what is fair, what is transparent, and always in the best interest of customers. And so that's what this code does. It's all the participants have spent a long time working with AFIA, the Finance Industry Association, and there are a lot of, rules and ways that we will work to show that we'll always act in the best interests of our customers.
Fantastic. And this is world first, and Australia is leading the way, right?
Exactly. So Buy Now, Pay Later is an Australian-founded innovation. And it's a great Australian export that is a global phenomenon, and we're leading as well in how we can navigate this regulatory complexity and regulatory grey space. And what we do here with the regulation of this industry, with the regulatory clarity, will be looked at globally as far as best practice. So an Aussie success story.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that. We all very much appreciate it. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Cheryl. Really great to be here. Great to be back at Stone Talk.